So I had this boss, and he was a cool guy, and he started off as a rep, and in a year he became the manager of a store, making over $100,000 a year. And he was in the process of moving up to make even more money. And whenever I go to work, all this guy would talk about is the business he was in and how he was doing things to improve it and improve the store and make more money. That's all he talked about. He ate, slept, and breathed it. That was his thing. That's what he was passionate about. You could almost say he was a little obsessed. And he was. He was pretty obsessed with, this business and that he was a part of in his job. But it didn't hurt him in any way. It actually made him money. He started off as a rep, not knowing anything, and in a year became a store manager. Not just any store manager, a top store manager, making over $100,000 a year. That's not bad. And he didn't have to do, he didn't have to go to college for it. He didn't have any past experience. He just was really obsessed and got really good at what he was doing. There is this quote by Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, a fairly successful guy, made a lot of money. He said when he was creating the iPhone, he said, I want to make a phone so sexy that people will want to lick the buttons off the phone. That's not really necessarily something that you would normally hear someone say. That's a little bit crazy. You could say that Steve Jobs was a little obsessed with what he was doing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe you've heard of him. When he would talk about he'd go to the gym and people would be at the gym and they'd be bitching how they're at the gym, Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, I love going to the gym. This is what I love doing. This is what I'm passionate about. And he would work out for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. 4 to 6 hours a day sometimes. Working out 4 to 6 hours. Now, guys, I go to the gym, and I think I'm not the most buffest in shape person in any way, but I go to the gym. I make sure I exercise at least a few times a week. I go for about an hour. Arnold Schwarzenegger was going 4 to 6 hours a day. Do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger was a little obsessed with working out? Yeah, he wanted to be the best. And guess what? He became the best. Mr. Olympia. How many people know of Arnold Schwarzenegger? Have you ever heard of him? If you bring him up to people, what will they tell you? Yeah, he was a bodybuilder, right? And of course he was an actor, and he's had a few different careers. He was obsessed, guys. Arnold Schwarzenegger was obsessed with bodybuilding. Steve Jobs was obsessed with his product. My manager, that moved up very quickly, which was very rare, he was obsessed with the industry he was in. I myself, I'm obsessed with what I'm doing. Being obsessed is a good thing. It is a good thing to be obsessed with what it is that you're doing. Society, though, has a way of making it seem like an obsession is a bad thing. And let's think about this, right? If you're obsessed with something, right? So me, I'm obsessed with making money. I love making money. So what's that mean? That means I'm thinking about money all the time. I'm thinking about my businesses and different ways to grow them, right? I'm obsessed. So if you're obsessed with something, you're thinking about something a lot. Now, I want you to understand how stupid what I'm going to explain is. People that tell people that they're obsessed with something and it's not a good thing, the haters, the naysayers, we're going to call them the losers because they're losers. The losers that aren't doing anything with their lives. They look at people that they're obsessed and they're like, hey man, you're obsessed. You need to slow down. You need to relax. You need to just take it easy. There's no need to do that. You're thinking about this too much. You're obsessed with this too much. Well, if you're not thinking about success and money and being successful in whatever it is that you're doing, the endeavor you're going about, what are you thinking about? You got to be thinking about something. Everybody's always thinking. Wouldn't you agree with me on that? Everybody thinks. Unless you're like a monk that meditates like 10 hours a day, you're just totally at peace and you don't have any thoughts, you're thinking, right? I mean, I meditate about 10 minutes a day and my thoughts slow down, but I'm telling you guys, I'm thinking, right? So what's the average person think about? Well, they think about the past a lot and things that have happened in the past that they're not happy with. And they play that image and that movie and that situation over and over again in their head. And if they do that, that creates negative feelings. And that's how people get depressed and they get upset. Or they think about the future. And when it's about the future, it could be good or bad. It could be, hey, I'm going to start this business, make a shit ton of money, and live the life I want to live. What do most people think about? Oh, I'm not excited to go to work. Or I got bills to pay. Or, I'm going to be nervous walking into this situation. Or, I got to go to the doctors and I'm out of shape and I'm afraid the doctor's going to judge me. People have thoughts like that, right? It's their fault. It's their thoughts. There's, nothing wrong with the thoughts. So someone that gets obsessed, they're thinking about their business. They're thinking about winning. They're thinking about making money. I had this guy, he bought my program, Magnetic Dropshipping, and we're chatting. And he says that he's obsessed with this. He goes, I think about this. And he goes, I think about this all the time. And I'm okay with that. And I'm here to tell you guys, it's good to be obsessed. Because if you're obsessed and you're thinking about something, guess what? It's going to naturally, automatically motivate you. It's going to push you forward. It's going to have you take massive action. And if you're always thinking about something, if you're always hyped up about something, if you're always taking actions and you're taking those actions based off getting the right information, it's going to be very easy for you to become massively successful in a very short period of time. Being obsessed is a good thing. And the people that say, slow down, relax, don't be obsessed, look at where they are in life. And if they don't have the things that you want in life, then I suggest you don't listen to them. And, some people, they get intimidated, right? If most people, they don't do anything with their lives. They just kind of wander through the life, and they have goals, they have dreams, but they don't go after them, and they don't achieve them, and then they lay on their deathbed and they die. That's how the majority of people in this world live their life. So when you make a stance and you say, you know what? I'm going to go after this. And you know what? I'm getting kind of obsessed about this, and I'm going to think about this a lot. They're going to get intimidated by you. Because if you guys are both the same, and you go out there and become massively successful and start fucking winning in life, and they're down here, that means that they fucked up. That means that they're not living their life to their fullest. And this person's ego, 99 out of 100 times, won't allow them to accept the fact that, hey, you simply were doing more with your life. You are using more of who you are and the gifts God gave you to live the life that you want to live and to create the life that is one that you enjoy, is one that you're happy with, and one that everything is going the way that you want it to go, and you're able to do the things you want to do, probably because you have money and you have freedom. So this person down here, they get intimidated by that, so a lot of times they try to pull you down. I'm telling you, be obsessed. Go after it full force. I had a buddy of mine, and he would say, Aaron, all you do is you, in the building phrases of, usually when you build a business, you got to put a lot of effort into it in the beginning. And then once it gets sustaining, it's like a rocket ship. A rocket ship launches off the ground. It takes a shit ton of energy to get that rocket ship off the ground. And it takes energy to get it in outer space. But once it's in outer space, it's kind of going. You don't have to give it that much energy. It's just, it's pretty much pushing along. In the beginning, though, it takes a lot of energy to get it off the ground. So in the beginning stages, for me, I'm getting all my shit off the ground. And my buddy's like, man, slow down. You're going too fast. You never hang out with me anymore. I said, fuck yeah, I don't hang out with you anymore. I'm not happy with where I am in life. I'm not happy with the way my life looks. If I go, you want me to come to the bar with you, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to go to the bar, and I'm going to be fucking pissed off that I'm not home working on my business. And then I'm going to spend money I don't really have on alcohol, and alcohol is not good for you. There's no nutritional value in alcohol. And then the next day, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be fucking hungover. And I'm not going to be able to do anything because I'm fucking hungover, so now I'm going to be super pissed off because I should have been working on my business the night before, but I didn't. And then I went out with you, and the next day I'm hungover, so I can't do shit. So no, I'm not coming out with you, right? But what you do is you allow yourself, you take your life, and you allow yourself to be, you put yourself in a situation to where your life is out of balance for a little bit, but it eventually allows you to have complete balance. Because let's say you have a job and you're working 40 hours a week. Right? Kind of standard. And then you come home from work, and instead of watching TV or going to the bar or whatever, you work on your business. You build your shit. You got your stuff growing. Well, guess what? In a certain amount of time, it could be a few months, could be a few years. Whatever it is, if it's a few years, totally fine, right? In a few years, you're now at the point where you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, working 20 hours a week. And then when you're at that point, you can actually cut that 20 hours a week down to 10 hours a week. So now you're working 10 hours a week, making $250,000 a year. Well, guess what? Now you can have complete balance for the rest of your life. Because if you're working 10 hours a week, right? I got a buddy of mine, he works no more than 1 to 2 hours a day, makes over $1 million a year, and documented verifiable income. He's been doing that for years. He had a job. While he had a job, he was working on the side business. He was building up, getting it together. People were like, hey man, you don't go out, you don't do anything, what's going on? He was working on himself. Well, guess what? Now he can do whatever he wants to do because he doesn't spend more than 2 hours a day tops on his business, and he's making over $1 million a year. He can do whatever he wants to do. He can travel. He can go to. He can have experiences, and he can enjoy himself. He doesn't have to go out and be like, "Fuck, you know what? If I go out today, I'm gonna be tired the next day because I got to get to work." He doesn't get to work. He doesn't have a job. He makes over $1 million a year online. That's the kind of life that you can live too if you go through this process. If you you probably become obsessed with something as you're going through the process, but you go through the process of having your life be out of balance, doing things that others won't do, so you can live the life that others won't be able to live. Because once you're rich, guys, once you have a lot of money, you can experience the dream every single day. I remember on one of my birthdays, I woke up and I literally worked on my business for 15 hours straight on my birthday. I didn't go out. I didn't do anything. Now I could have said, you know what? I worked for 9 hours straight. I'm going to at least treat myself and go out to dinner. No, I did not do that. I rolled out of bed. I fucking went. I sat down on the computer chair. My shit was online business, right? Sat on the computer chair, grinded out for 15 hours straight. Then I went back to bed and then I went back and I passed out. Didn't even take a bath, didn't leave my place, fucking sat there on my chair. Because once you get rich, once you have a lot of money, once you're like my buddy that's making over $1 million a year, I actually got another buddy that's a few years younger than me that makes $1 million. He's making over $1 million a year. This dude's making like right around $2 to $3 million a year, right? The things that he has the ability to do, and he can do any day, are 10 times greater than what the average person can do. Because he has the money and he has the time. You might as well have delayed gratification, grind out, and allow yourself to, in a few months, in a year, maybe it even takes you a couple of years, but to put yourself in a position where you can live the perfect balanced life, where you have lots of money and lots of time so you can do the things that you want to do and you can live the life that you want to live. So with that said, go out there, allow yourself to be obsessed and allow yourself to have some, delayed gratification and keep grinding out and going out there and making a lot of money for yourself because you deserve to get wealthy for yourself and for those closest to you so you can provide a high quality of life, a high standard of living, stress-free living for yourself and those closest to you because you deserve it and they deserve it.